Well, in the previous video, we see Peter and Brian were cracking jokes at work until their boss, Mara, walked in, called them children, and reminded them there's a difference between having fun and disturbing the office. She then asked Peter about his project and told him she'd be gone for a couple of weeks. Before Peter could respond, she made him acting head of the department, a move that clearly didn't sit well with Brian. Later, on his way home, Peter was on the phone with his mysterious girlfriend when danger struck. Out of nowhere, Shocker ambushed him with a powerful blast. Before Shocker could finish the job, Black Cat arrived, landing quick kicks and taunting him. But Shocker had new tricks. His sonic waves weakened her and left her vulnerable. Just as things turned dire, Spider-Man appeared, slamming Shocker to the ground with unusual fury. Black Cat tried to calm him, but Spidey, now colder and more aggressive than ever, webbed up Shocker and delivered him straight to Tombstone as a brutal warning. Then, in a shocking twist, Peter confronted Spider-Man face to face, each claiming the other isn't who they seem. The latest Amazing Spider-Man issue begins with a throwback. We see Aunt May and Uncle Ben looking at a young Peter, who is so pumped up while dressing in a Captain America suit. He's a big fan of America and already feels ready to serve his nation when he grows up. Uncle Ben tells Peter to give Aunt May a break and also reminds him to please return those PJs when he goes to work. Peter is all like it's his uniform, and he's not going to return it soon, to which Uncle Ben replies that even Captain America has to take off his uniform for washing. With these funny moments, Peter laughs and cheers, running outside pretending to be Captain America. Uncle Ben and Aunt May love seeing Peter this happy. The comic then switches to the present time, in an apartment where Aunt May is looking at old photos, remembering the good old days with a heavy heart. She cleans one photograph and puts it back in the box, where the small old Captain America costume Peter used to wear is also kept. She feels lonely and wishes she had someone to talk to. At that moment, there's a knock on her door, and Ricardo Villanueva is standing there. She smiles at him, surprised that he has come so late at night. He explains that he's only checking on a sleepless friend, and jokes that his children say his voice can make anyone fall asleep. He suggests they take a walk, and she agrees. Together, they step out into the night. The scene then switches to where we left off in the last issue. We see two different men, one trying to be Spider-Man, and the other trying to be Peter Parker, having a confrontation over who is real or not. But neither of them is truly real. The real Spider-Man, after being beaten badly by Hellgate, disappeared somewhere, and it hasn't been revealed yet. These two just stepped in to fill the void of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. The fake Peter, or the one pretending to be Peter Parker, asks the other who is playing Spider-Man, "So what's your play?" "Spider-Man." But Spidey isn't really in the mood to talk, so Peter gives him another, silent and ominous. Boring. Better than diarrhea of the mouth, I guess. This gives Spidey a heads up, and he asks Peter why he's posing as Peter when he clearly isn't. This really hits a nerve, and Peter gets angry, replying that it's not Spidey's business to get into this topic. They both come close in a fighting stance, grabbing each other, trying to rip the other apart. Spidey then grabs Peter by his collar, and Peter shouts, "I'll give the threads an 8 out of 10. Obviously they're hiding a different build, and the tech helping you out." With that, Peter tries to punch Spidey in the face, continuing to taunt. But the real giveaway is no spider sense. Spidey gets pissed off easily and throws Peter brutally. You know it's not the real one, so both of them are proving they aren't real. Peter crashes into a chimney wall. Even after taking the hit, Peter gets up really fast, surprising the one pretending to be Spidey, who thinks that even if Peter isn't Peter Parker, he's still super fast and strong, not like a normal human being. It looks like Spidey is about to take down Peter easily as he stands tall near him and asks Peter about his real identity, and also where the real one is. But the fake Peter has had enough. His eyes power up as he announces, "I don't terrify easily." He charges at fake Spidey with his powers. Spidey wonders if he's a chameleon. If he really is, then Spidey has always wanted to punch Chameleon. Then it's finally revealed. As fake Peter starts powering up and switches into his new tech-powered suit, it's none other than his clone, Ben Reilly. the one playing Peter Parker, or you can call him his current persona, Chasm. For those who know, Ben Reilly once fell into chemicals that gave him new powers but also broke his mind. Later, when Peter Parker went missing, Ben took his place as Spider-Man to fill that void until he really found him. Fake Spidey really wants to know now what Ben Reilly has done to Peter. Ben replies with a smile that he made him better. With that, Ben throws a punch at fake Spidey. He's clearly not happy with some useless man coming forward to take the place of Spider-Man's brand. He really wants an answer from fake Spidey, as they both engage in a brutal counter. Ben shouts at fake Spidey, "What gives you the right to call yourself Spider-Man?" and throws him into the same chimney wall. The fake Spider-Man uses his strength and webs up the crumbling wall to stop it from crushing kids, proving he's still trying to be a hero. But unlike Ben Reilly, who often goes too far and acts recklessly, even though he also wants to help people, Ben then taps on his head, frustrated with himself that he always goes too far and creates a mess. Just then, Black Cat appears from behind and praises the fake Spider-Man in front of Ben. She thinks how lucky he is today. Even though he is not their Spider-Man, at least he is keeping his focus on the prize, and her attention finally turns to Ben. The scene then shifts to Tombstone's apartment. Shocker, who got beaten badly in the previous issue by the fake Spider-Man, is now getting bandaged up by Dr. RX and talking to Tombstone about the fight, while Tombstone is busy making his drink and only half listening. Shocker tells Tombstone that this isn't normally how Spider-Man acts, because he clearly wanted to break him into pieces like he wouldn't be able to walk anymore. Tombstone, after hearing all this, takes a sip of his drink and asks Shocker when he will get back to work. Shocker explains that he has broken bones, so it will take a little time, while the doctor tells Tombstone that Shocker will be ready to rock again in 3 days. Tombstone then thanks the doctor and tells Shocker to get rest for a week and then come back to work. He also orders him to pay for the house repairs, as you all know what happened in the last issue, when the fake Spidey beat Shocker up and threw him at Tombstone's house, breaking the roof. If you haven't seen the video of the previous issue, click the top right icon to watch it now. Back to the story. Tombstone goes outside on the terrace to take a deep breath, thinking about Spider-Man and what has really happened to him, because he's clearly not looking normal. In the middle of those thoughts, a voice from behind echoes, "Alonzo, can we talk?" Tombstone turns around and sees Hobgoblin there. Hobgoblin tells Tombstone he's not here for trouble, although he could do a lot, but right now he's here to talk. Tombstone is surprised about why he's really here. Hobgoblin then says that normally he would rip him off for messing up his operations, but he's here to say he's working on something important. He wants Tombstone at his back because he doesn't want him going against him on the streets at the same time Osborn is bringing him down in court. Tombstone replies that if Hobgoblin stays away from his streets, he will not interfere in his work. Hobgoblin suggests forming a strategic alliance, but Tombstone completely rejects it. So Hobgoblin leaves, saying, "Don't say I didn't try. See you in the future, Alonzo." Meanwhile, we see Ben Reilly, or you can say acting as Spider-Man now, and Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, meeting in a restaurant. They're both out of their outfits and talking properly about where Peter Parker has gone. Felicia, after entering the place, gives a solid one to Ben because he's invited her to a so-called boys type of meeting spot, and she's clearly annoyed. "Would it kill you boys to pick a place with cloth napkins? Just once. I'll pay." After this banter, Felicia comes straight to the point, asking what Ben knows about Peter. Ben tells Felicia that Peter is alive for now. Felicia asks how he knows so confidently, and he adds that it's a clone bond. If you guys remember in the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, every time Spider-Man died, Ben really felt that void, but this time he's not feeling it, which makes him believe Peter is alive. After listening to this, Felicia looks at him, pauses, and adds, "Fine, I'll buy it. Seeing not Peter Parker drink beer is honestly freaking me out." Felicia then gets close to Ben and asks if this is all some sort of plan like last time, and who is that one person pretending to be Spider-Man. Just when Ben is about to answer, a sudden voice echoes from behind, "All right, Now I'm jealous. It's Janine Godby, Ben Reilly's girlfriend. Ben introduces her to Felicia, and Felicia is like, hey, is you being a redhead a genetic thing? Janine says yes, it's a lucky thing for her. Ben, before leaving with his girlfriend, finishes things with Felicia. He makes it clear that they were just wrapping up and that he doesn't know or care who the person in the red and blue suit is. He believes that sooner or later that person will figure out what he has. Ben thinks sometimes a person has to take something first to realize they don't actually want it. Felicia then asks if this whole thing isn't a plan. Then why is Ben pretending to be Peter? Ben tells her she has a good heart, but she's asking the wrong question. With that, he gives her something solid, telling her he's sure Peter is alive, but the real question is why Peter doesn't want to come back. With that, Ben is about to leave the place with Janine, and Felicia realizes there are no more questions or answers she can get from him. Ben leaves, saying if she needs something, call him on the number. As they both leave, Felicia looks at the table and murmurs, "Sticking me with the bill is also genetic, apparently." The scene then shifts to that fake Spider-Man who fought Ben Reilly moments before on a rooftop. He's really thinking about how he's going through this phase of being better and controlling his emotions. Before that fight with fake Peter Parker, or, Ben Reilly, he was thinking about quitting and going back to normal. He really thinks that if he becomes an animal in every fight he engages in, then it's not good. It's not good for Peter's legacy, which he has been carrying since Peter has been long gone. He really feels that he can't do that to Peter because he owes him so much. With all these thoughts, he sits down with a drink, remembering how the real Peter saved his life so many times. Now he feels it's time for him to save Peter's dreams. And with that, it is revealed that it's actually Norman Osborn who is currently posing as Spider-Man. As you all know, Norman Osborn is now carrying a new persona, not that of the Goblin. He's trying to be a better person, not the supervillain he once was. When he saw there was no Spider-Man, he came forward to fill the void. Far from his apartment, it's shown that someone is watching Norman Osborn. As you know, there are some villains who are after him and also Spider-Man. But here, someone new is watching Norman from a far-off penthouse apartment, looking like he's going to do something bad to Norman, maybe even go for the kill. The comic then shifts to a place very far away from this planet, like galaxies away. On a dark alien planet, it's shown that someone there is gasping about his situation, feeling his body completely alien now. He's in a lot of pain, a dark, real pain he still feels. And with that, after so many days of waiting, we finally see the real Peter Parker, not in good condition or shape. He looks like someone who is completely messed up in this alien universe, just surviving, as if he's about to end. We then see how Peter got into this condition. Weeks before, when he landed on this alien planet, he caught rainwater to drink. He ate some kind of berries, which were very poisonous, just for survival. He even ate some alien rat-like creatures just to stay alive. But his body collapsed after taking so much pain, and he just gave up. It's not clearly shown why and how he ended up here in this dead universe. Just when Peter thinks his time is over, a voice echoes. The same voice that echoed to Hellgate when Spider-Man was being beaten badly in the previous issue. That voice, which stopped Hellgate from potentially killing Spider-Man, is now here again, telling Spidey that he is the Prince of Steel Silk and that he is not done yet. This somehow gives Spidey a little hope, like a dead hope. Weeks later, an alien ship referred to as the Beacon, a self-sustaining deep space research vessel, comes and sees Peter struggling here. It rescues him and takes him on board. It is then shown that Peter is back in his full form after some weeks. He's fully recovered, or you can say a better and stronger version of himself. We see him talking to someone, that someone is testing Spidey's super strength by making him do things like picking up heavy objects. It seems like some kind of alien researcher, and maybe from his efforts, Peter has now regained his full strength and power. Then the alien personality is shown. Its name is Dr. Starblood. Peter is having an intense confrontation with Dr. Starblood. The doctor coldly questions him about whether he was frightened, going so far as to ask if he lost control and even demanding a sample. Peter then asks him if there isn't any human resources department here, to which Dr. Starblood chuckles that from where he belongs there are no humans. Starblood, while running some tests on Peter, asks if there's any notable data from his efforts, to which Peter replies that it's all baseline stuff, really perfect health. Starblood tells him that it feels like he's disappointed with the results, and also reminds him to remember the time when he picked him from that state to this state. Peter just hopes it all goes for something better. After wrapping up their session, they start leaving the laboratory. Spidey jokes that he's hoping one day this alien Dr. Starblood, or Xanto Starblood, will wear pants under his flexi-suit, which makes Starblood laugh for a moment. They both leave. Peter, still lost in his thoughts from the past couple of days, has been running different tests on himself just to make sure he's alive and that all this isn't just a dream. He really thinks this place, this being here, feels just like the dreams he used to have when he was a kid. Xanto and Peter sit together at a table, quietly sharing a meal. Xanto serves the food, noting that it is not pizza, but hopes the meal is good enough. Peter laughs at his remark and wonders how Xanto even knows what pizza is. Xanto, showing a touch of pride, thinks of himself as a man of culture. He reflects that despite visiting countless civilized worlds, he has never found anything like that delicacy. He suspects it might have something to do with New York's water, and then softly asks Peter if he misses it. Peter smiles and replies that who wants a slice from Two Boots when he's here getting a mystery fruit salad from somewhere like Planet X or something. The next day, the grind continues for Spidey as he pushes his limits. He wants Xanto to run some tests on him so he can get better results. He tells Xanto that he'll clean up the mess but just do some tests on him. While Xanto starts the process, Peter thinks about how Xanto has never really asked him about how and why he came here, far away from home, as if they're both aligned in their respect for each other's privacy. After the test, Starblood exclaims, "Well done, my boy," which makes Spidey a little less happy because he feels there's no improvement. Xanto proudly tells Peter that he is the best, 100 times stronger than almost all of their species. Peter feels frustrated and thinks about how Xanto is also known as the greatest xenobiological engineer of the epoch, something even written on his book cover. Xanto confidently claims that it is excellent sales copy and also true, but Peter interrupts him, wanting to know if he can actually do what he says. Xanto turns around, puts his hand on Peter's shoulder and adds, "At the risk of overselling my considerable skills?" "Abso-glarfing-lutely." Peter exhales. "Right on." With that, Xanto asks him to clean up, and Peter agrees with a smile. Later that evening on the alien world, Peter feels a spark of hope replacing his fear. He believes this journey will make him a stronger Spider-Man. To distract himself, he decides to clean the ship's lower decks, which Xanto always keeps reminding him about. So Peter goes down to the basement, only to find a lot of cages down there with different species, aliens and sentient people locked inside like they're being experimented on. Peter's face goes into full rage. For weeks he's been thinking he's getting stronger from an alien who's a good researcher and a good being. But with this discovery, his anger fuels up, and he goes straight to Xanto for confrontation, yelling, "You said that you were experimenting on plants, non-sentient creatures." Starblood tries to calm Peter down. He shows that he sees Peter differently from the rest, considering him smart, hardworking, and someone who will one day create an extraordinary book. But Peter, furious, yells again, telling him to get all of them out of the cages. Starblood keeps to his words, adding, "No, my work continues unabated, so allow me to pitch you an alternative." But Peter yells again, louder this time, to get them all out. Starblood calmly replies that they should go upstairs and discuss this over a cup of ale like men of science. But Peter has no intention of backing down now, so he cuts him off with a brutal knock, yelling to get them all out. Starblood blocks Peter's punches and treats him like a lesser being, warning him that pets get beds while animals get cages, and tells him to choose being a pet. But Peter isn't slowing down. He keeps trying to kick and punch hard. Xanto Starblood asks what Peter will achieve with all this chaos, reminding him he's deep in his space, in his ship. Peter says he'll accomplish dignity. Starblood calls dignity overrated and reminds Peter that he found him on the verge of death, and his only way then was survival. He asks where that dignity was at that time. Peter then starts running upstairs as Starblood continues scolding him, asking if he had dignity on his homeworld, where he's in no hurry to return, or if he's just another cog in some other fool's machinery counting days until death. Starblood says he's given Peter purpose, a purpose for his life in the greater good of scientific curiosity. With that, Starblood pulls out a strange kind of gun and aims at Peter. Starblood then asks, "What else do you have?" Meanwhile, Peter manages to break free and heads into the armory, where he finds Xanto's flexi suit. The advanced suit gives him powers similar to tendrils, along with a fresh design that resembles Spider-Man 2099. With this upgrade, Peter becomes stronger than before, and finally has a real chance to fight Xanto head-on. As they both get into a brutal encounter, Starblood praises the flexi suit, telling Peter about it and asking if he likes it or not, saying it's his best work, a husk of Technarch repurposed, all of the tech, none of the narch. Starblood fires his gun at Peter, feeling confident as he boasts that this kind of power takes some getting used to, especially for someone as primitive as Peter. At the same time, he believes Peter will finally understand why he claims he never wears anything under that suit. Starblood continues that he programmed the interior part to feel like Dionysian silk. Peter, who just got hit and is down on the floor, agrees with him that, really, it's that smooth. After taking him down, Starblood aims his gun at Peter's face, but he makes one mistake. He keeps on talking and praising his tech abilities rather than finishing Peter off, like that was his plan all along. Peter says that back on Earth there are a lot of people like Starblood, people who only care about progress and don't care about people's lives, and he is not fond of them. But Starblood just ignores him, saying Peter's opinions don't matter much to him. With that little bit of talking, Peter quickly masters and figures out the tech suit. He not only lands one, but two harder blows to Starblood, which really knocks him down. Starblood can't believe how this is happening. As Peter crushes him, he says, "It's science, baby." After putting him down, Peter rushes to the basement with only one thing on his mind: to free them all the hostages trapped in cages. It takes him a little time to get over, or you could say understand, the alien technology, but he manages to overcome that and frees all the species. Peter adds to all of them, "I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner, but you're all right now. I'm here to help." Peter introduces himself first as Spider-Man, but he stops himself from saying that word and instead introduces himself as Peter Parker. Among the hostages there are aliens and other species who were captured, kidnapped, experimented on, and tortured. But among them there are some known faces too. We see a symbiote there, the same kind as Venom but not actually Venom, who's currently down on Earth bonded with MJ as we saw in previous parts. And Rocket Raccoon is here too, looking furious. After Peter's introduction, Rocket really goes on to say, "Perfect. Another idiot Earth. Peter to the rescue. No offense. Mostly." Peter is shocked to see him locked up there. And with that, it's a wrap until the next issue. So hit the like button and subscribe for more exciting issues coming up.